What's up, everybody? Welcome to Moneyline Media. You guys can tell by the tone in my voice. Today begins a certain day. We have arrived. Welcome to the madness that is March.
First
It's gonna
one,
be nuts up in here.
it's our first one that we're doing, so that's like
Right?
super exciting.
We got canceled last year, unfortunately. Yep. I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
I think if Deirdre knows, but if you guys don't know, I'm sure you do because I talk about it all the time. This point of the year. Now, there's 2 points of the year that are my favorite. So you get this very small margin normally in a typical season where you have football, basketball, and hockey all at the same time with World Series baseball going on. So you have all four going on, and you have college football as well, and college basketball takes its start. That's one of my favorite times of the year. My other favorite time of the year is right now when you have March Madness, the NBA you don't even care about anymore until further notice. You have March Madness.
Some people.
Right. And then you have baseball starting up in just 2 weeks. And the NFL is opening up.
It's free agency. It's crazy.
So, crazy point of the year for us. Busy. I tend to focus all my attention on March Madness around this time of year. I'm a big March Madness guy. It's my favorite time of year. It's like when you get to come home from work or whatever and there's a 2 o'clock basketball game on, you can't get much better than that. So it's a great time of the year. And this is, it's like, goes back to your childhood, brings a tear to your eye.
Yeah.
It's time to go. I've never been more pumped. A couple of my teams, a couple of local teams, got the chance to go back to the NCAA.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
For sure. So let's open up with a couple of headlines here. Let's talk about those local teams for a second. For the first time since 2005, I want to say, or 2003, Iona basketball is going back into the NCAA tournament. Head coach Rick Pitino has officially taken his 5th team to the NCAA tournament.
Incredible.
Only 2 other coaches have done that. So that's, listen, Rick Pitino comes with baggage. We all know that.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I heard his players for Iona had to take a little bit of a pay cut than what, like, the Louisville guys got, but that's okay.
Exactly. So, but yeah, listen, the guy comes with so much baggage, but he
knows how to win.
Right. You want to talk about coaching basketball, you're not going to get much better than Rick Pitino.
Yep.
So he takes Iona basketball as a 9 seed in the MAAC tournament, takes him as a 9 seed and drags him right through to win the tournament and clinch his spot NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
So congratulations to them on that. For the first time in a very long time, I forgot what year it was, and it's been a long time though. Rutgers, I think it's over 20 years now. Rutgers is going back to the big dance.
I think it's also first time as a Big Ten participant.
Yes, that is 100% too. So congratulations to Rutgers, Deirdre. That's your local school out there.
I'm literally next door, like,
So basically. Rutgers gets their chance to go back to the big dance.
Yep.
Syracuse, I know that they're in it normally, but there was a little bit of
if they were going to be in it.
Yeah, they were on the bubble for a while, but they got hot at the right time.
They did.
And big shout out to Syracuse heading back to the tournament.
Yes.
St. Bonaventure out in Manhattan will also be going to the big dance this year. I believe they're in Manhattan, right?
No, they're not in Manhattan. They're not in Manhattan.
Oh, no. It's upstate. I do apologize. It is upstate.
I was like, no.
St. Bonaventure sounds like such a...
They're in quite a bit, though. Like, they do pretty well for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But, yes.
And they're going back to the big dance. So, big congratulations to them.
Yes. So, also, I think we need to give a shout out to a couple of teams that did not make the big dance, but have been on such a roll. And maybe I'm just saying this because I'm a Duke fan, but let's give a shout out to Kentucky and Duke. Didn't make the dance this year, but damn, what a great run for both of those programs.
Yeah. Definitely big run for them. For the first time since 1976, ladies and gentlemen. 1976, Kentucky, Duke, and Louisville won't be going to the tournament together.
That's insane.
Those are some numbers.
those are some big numbers. And I mean, all those programs are storied programs. They'll be back. It was a crazy year for everyone. Again, not making excuses for Duke or any of those programs, because other programs, obviously, the Big Ten. I think every single team in the Big Ten is in. That's pretty much like every single team in the Big Ten has made
Michigan
it.
State, I believe, right?
What?
Michigan State.
Michigan State's in a play-in game.
Oh, they are. That's right. Yeah.
So I mean, give it up for the Big Ten. And you know, that's incredible. They have so many teams in. I don't know if it's a record, but it's got to be. But you know what, James? I think it's time to get started.
Well, one sec. I have one more special shout out for a local kid. I know there's a lot of local guys, New York guys, that are in the tournament right now, but a big special shout out to one of them from Georgia Tech, Brooklyn-born Jose Alvarado, played his ass off throughout that ACC tournament to get Georgia Tech that title. So big congratulations to him. Big congratulations to the coaching staff over there for getting that team to where they are. It has to be a while for them too, as well, not making.
Oh yeah, they were in a dominant ACC. The ACC this year wasn't as dominant. I think that we could say it was definitely a decline. But they also definitely bursted some. I think Georgia Tech bursted some bubbles by making it same as Georgetown. There's a couple
and Oregon State.
Oregon State too.
As well. Georgetown. Wow, what a freaking game that was. They didn't, I had them to cover the spread. They went in there and covered the spread times 6. And
I just want to say one thing, and congratulations to Patrick Ewing in making it. But let's not make it like he's a great coach. Like they were like under 500 going into the tournament. Like everyone's making it like he had this. This team was a well-oiled machine. They got hot at the right time, yes, but like let's just be real for a second. All right. So you ready to do the bracket challenge? James and I thought it would be fun to do the bracket challenge. James has been super in on the NCAA all year. He likes his gambling. I have not really been in the I'm a Duke fan, so I've watched a couple of Duke games, but I knew that they weren't going to make it, so I haven't been as into it as I might have been. But what we're going to do is I feel like a lot of people feel this way with brackets. Like if you have a bracket in your office or a bracket in your family, I know all the time my family does like brackets, and my sister, who knows the least about the NCAA, always wins. Shout out to Patricia and Kevin, who got engaged over the weekend.
Yeah.
Yes. But she always wins, no matter what. So she wins. And she knows nothing about it, but she wins constantly. And I think that's something that we go on like, oh, wow, it's these people. It's same with fantasy and stuff like that. It's these people who know the least who win the most. So James and I are doing
hilarious.
It's true. I mean, it's true.
Because I won fantasy football.
Well, no, not you. But like I'm on another league, an all girls league, and I feel like the girls who know the least about it win. But so we're gonna put that to the test here. And we have the bracket challenge now. It is Deirdre versus James, the professional gambler versus the not so professional. And we're going to put that theory to the test. Now, I will say I have a little bit of knowledge about, college basketball. I'm not a complete idiot, but.
No, you're not.
No, thank you. Well, that was sweet. Thank you. I wish I could say the same, but. But let's get started. James, first on the agenda, let's go with number 1, Gonzaga versus number 16.
It's going to be Norfolk State or
App State, exactly.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter who it is. Whoever wins that play-in game, it's going to be a blowout.
Okay.
Gonzaga is one of these teams that they're not stupid. They're not like Virginia that they went in underprepared in that one game against the 16 and got smacked.
Yeah.
So I'm taking Gonzaga here.
Also, like, let's be honest, that 16 thing happened once, and of course it's going to happen again, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. I got Gonzaga as well.
Yeah,
not
against that team.
No. Though getting later into our brackets, I will say what makes me nervous about Gonzaga. And I think that you will probably agree with me. All right, next up we got the 8th and the 9th seed. 8 seed Oklahoma versus 9 seed Missouri. This sounds like almost like a college, could potentially be a college football game. It's crazy to see that.
Dude, the SEC was no fluke this year, by the way.
No, they were not.
Basketball. They are playing lights out basketball.
Right. And I will say that with most of these conferences, I feel like their play really picked up other than the ACC.
I agree. I'm going to go Missouri here. I really like the way that Missouri's been playing basketball. Defensively, they're stronger than Oklahoma, in my opinion. I think that's what's going to take them. I think it'll be a close game to the end. I think Missouri's defense, they'll make like a steal or something will happen at the end of the game. They'll win 71-69.
All right. I'm going to go Oklahoma here. No shade to James. I don't want to look like I'm picking all your teams. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping it'll be a good game. A 9 versus 8 seed is always usually a good game. I'm excited to see what comes up. All right, next up we got Creighton versus UCSB. All right. 5 versus 12. This is where, and James, I know as a gambler, you're probably going to say this. This is where the most upsets happen. Is that 5-12?
And we're not that far into this show already, and I'm already picking my strongest upset of the week. I got UCSB. This is one of these teams, Cal Santa Barbara, like, as a degenerate gambler, I get to watch Cal Santa Barbara
a lot.
A
lot more than you'd like to admit.
They're an 11 o'clock team every night between 11 o'clock and midnight, so it's kind of like when you get to watch like Pac-12 after dark.
Gotcha.
I get to watch them a lot, and they're very well coached. They got a couple good seniors on that team, and they have a couple lights-out three-point shooters that I really fear. And the absolute dismal performance that Creighton put up against Georgetown.
Right.
I fear for Creighton a lot, and not just because of that Georgetown game. This happens a lot to Creighton. They lose focus, and they're very young. They're a young basketball team, and I think that when they start getting punched early in a fight, they get knocked out. So I really like UCSB here because of the seniors, and I like them because of their three-point shooting.
Right, and you said UCSB is a strong team, right? Like strong physically?
They're physically strong, yes.
Because Creighton might be the most unintimidating team I've ever seen in my life.
And I think that's why they were a perfect match to lose against Georgetown, because it's run by Patrick Ewing. Solid body guys.
Right. If you look at those two, and like I was talking, it was my girlfriend's birthday while we were watching it. I was talking to her brother, and I was like, if you look at these teams, the fact that Creighton is an 8.5-point favorite, it's insane. Because if you didn't know anything, and like I knew a little bit about the Big East going into it, but like if you just look at those two teams physically, there's no shot in hell that Creighton had a shot.
Yeah. It never even looked good.
With that being said, I'm going Creighton here because they had that bad game before the tournament, and I think everyone needs to have that bad game before the tournament starts, and then you kind of hit yourself. Then you start getting yourself going. Also, did you see that they're putting tracking devices on these kids? Now, I don't know if that's true.
Yes, I did. They've been doing this whole year, though.
That is nuts, man. That's some pretty crazy shit.
Yeah.
All right.
So what I want to do, what I just thought, that is highly insane.
I mean, that has to be some type of illegal. Like, you can't just like.
You would think so.
Wow.
I just thought to myself, what we should do is, like, we're gonna pick these brackets now. I would like to do an additional bracket when the spreads are released.
Okay.
And do a based off spread bracket.
For sure. I think that'd be great.
It'll be a lot of fun.
It will.
Then we get to see my real psychotic wheels
turning. Right. All right, next up we have Virginia and Ohio. Virginia being the 4th seed, Ohio being the 13th seed. The Bobcats of Ohio. James, which way are you going
Miami,
here?
Ohio, we're talking about here.
What?
We're talking about Miami, Ohio here.
No, just Ohio. Just Ohio.
Ohio
University.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I don't see why the hell Ohio is the 13th seed, in my humble opinion. I think this one is going to be an early round knockout. Virginia wins by 15.
I'm going here. I think Ohio has a pretty good, decent shooting guard who's getting some NBA looks. Virginia is just getting over that COVID bug. I got Ohio here.
It's a good thing to look at. You always have to look at the COVID chances here.
Yeah. Yep. All right, next up. We got the 6th seed USC versus 11th seed, which could be Wichita State or Drake. James, what do you got here?
All right, so I'm taking USC regardless here. I don't
Okay.
think either team is strong, but shout out to Drake University for being the most profitable team in college basketball all year, the best in NCAA against the spread this season. Shout out to Drake for being the best against the spread this year.
Awesome. I'm gonna go. I'll go USC here too. Playing it safe, I guess. I took a couple of ups. Well, I took last time I took an upset, so now I'm just playing smart. All right, next up we got the 3rd seed Kansas versus the 14th seed Eastern Washington. James, which way you going here?
I've had reservations about this one all day.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Kansas.
Okay.
I don't care what the spread is. I'm taking Eastern Washington with the spread.
Okay.
So I'm going to take Kansas to win this game because I think Bill Self actually leads them to a victory here. But when it comes down to it, I think Eastern Washington will cover that spread. I think it'll be too close to call.
All right. I got Kansas too. Next up, we have Oregon as the 7th seed versus VCU as the 10th seed. James, which way you're going here?
VCU is a good basketball team.
Yeah.
But Oregon was looking like they weren't going to make this tournament early in the year. I always forget the name of their coach. But that guy knows how to coach basketball teams. And he knows how to get them offensively going. I don't trust VCU. They give me like bad feelings throughout basketball games a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to stick with Oregon here.
Okay.
Listen, my Oregon Ducks hoodie is on my mattress right now, so
Gotcha.
I can't go against the quacks.
Quacks. Though, by the way, best like jersey combinations too.
Dude,
I mean, awesome.
Oh, and by the way, I have to go with Oregon too because Champagne, whatever I call him Champagne, is playing for Oregon now. The kid that was on St. John's last year.
And despite of that, you're rooting for them.
Yeah. Well, he got my Johnnies to the tournament, even though they didn't play it.
Yeah, that's true. All right, next up. I gotta pick mine. I'm gonna go VCU here. They always, knock off a team in the tournament, so I got that. Next up we got the 2 seed Iowa versus the 15th seed Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon Canyons. If you watch Colin Cowherd today, you would understand what I'm talking about. There's no chance for Grand Canyon in this one. I love the way Iowa's playing. Oh man, what the hell's that kid's name? Big kid down low.
Luka Garza.
I mean, the kid, he's really phenomenal. He broke down the other night. They gave like a senior night there, and he cried like a baby, and I loved it. Like he was saying thank you to the Iowa crowd and stuff. I really like their motivation. I like that team. They have a nice little 3-point shooter there too, and Bohannon, I think his name is.
Yeah, I gotta go with Iowa as well here. All right, and with that, we move down to the East, and we're in the East. We got Michigan versus either Mount St. Mary or Texas Southern. James,
One sec. You took Kansas, right?
I took Kansas, yes.
Okay, because I was a pick behind.
Okay, so I got it for like later if you want me to send it to you. I got that. Yeah.
All right, on to the next one. What do we got? Michigan versus who?
We got Michigan versus either Mount St. Mary or Texas Southern.
It doesn't really matter. I'm taking Michigan here again, but I do have, when we get into the later brackets, we're gonna have Michigan being a problem.
Couple upsets. I'm going Michigan here. I think they lost at the right time. I think that's super important, and you know how I feel. I think it's a lot harder to win. I think it's easier to lose your last game and then make a good run than to do something like win every single game and then try to make try. So I think they lost at the right time. So I'm going Michigan right here. All right, next up we got let me pop up. We got the 8th versus 9 seed, and LSU versus the Bonnies from Manhattan, apparently.
That doesn't sound like a Manhattan name to you.
No, it does not, dude.
St.
There's like
Paul.
nope.
That
No.
sounds like Manhattan.
No.
God, there's 517 Catholic schools in Manhattan.
Not really, no.
What?
Not in Manhattan itself, not really. Not really, sir.
See, this is what happens when you talk to a Brooklyn kid. They don't know what they're talking about when it comes to Manhattan.
Okay. Whatever you say, dude. LSU versus the Bonnies. Which way are we going here?
I'm going LSU here. Their 3-point shooting is freaking lethal. I don't think St. Bonaventure can handle the amount of offensive pressure that the LSU Tigers attack with. It's not like that Joe Burrow offense. They just score too much. There's nothing you can do to keep up with it.
All right, yeah, I'll go LSU here too.
Plus,
all right, and next up we got the 5 seed Colorado versus the 12 seed Patrick Ewing Georgetown's. Hoyas, which way you go with, James?
All right, so for me here, it's gotta be Colorado. McKinley Wright the fourth is my favorite player in college basketball right now. Gotcha. He is a gamer. Mm-hmm. I love that kid. He took a shot the other night. He went in the back there to evaluate him and stuff, and he came right back out. The kid is lethal from 3. He scores when he needs to. Like, if you're down 10, he'll put up 8 points in a row for you. Lethal shooter, and there's a couple really lethal shooters on there. And this is not a good matchup for Patrick Ewing's Georgetown Hoyas.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to go Colorado here. Similar reasons to why I picked Michigan. I think Georgetown's on too hot of a streak to keep it going. Mm-hmm. All right, next up we got the 4 seed Florida State versus the 13th seed UNC Greensboro. James, which way are you feeling towards this?
I'm going to go UNC Greensboro here. I think that UNC Greensboro is very not old, but they're senior carried.
Veteran presence.
Juniors and seniors on that team. FSU to me is just like we said, the ACC was very weak this year. I don't think that they impressed me much. I'm not a big fan of them, and I think UNC Greensboro can be one of those teams that's a magic-ridden team. I could see them pushing forward into maybe the third round.
All right. Well, I got to disagree with you here. Florida State, they're always big, and I got to go Florida State here because of how big they are. I think UNC Greensboro is going to be overpowered by the big bodies of Florida State, so that's why I got to go Florida State here. All right. Next up, we got BYU. They will either be playing the Michigan State Spartans or the UCLA Bruins. James, who you got in this one?
I like BYU in either game here. Let's just be said, Michigan State will advance into this tournament, and then I think BYU will knock them out. I really like BYU this year. For the first round, at least, I'm taking BYU over Michigan State or UCLA.
All right. I'm going Michigan State here. I think Michigan State has played a harder schedule than BYU, and I think they will come up strong against BYU.
All right, so you're locking in Michigan State or UCLA or just Michigan State?
No, I don't know about I'm not sure about UCLA. I'm just going Michigan State here.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right. Next up, we have the 3rd-seeded Texas. I got Texas on my back right now with the Kevin Durant jersey versus Abilene Christian. James, which way you heading towards this one?
Baby, it's Abilene. No, it's not baby, it's Abilene. Was it maybe it's Maybelline?
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Maybe it's Abilene. Maybe it's Abilene.
Is that where you're going?
No, I'm going absolutely Texas here. Where I have Texas finishing, I will get yelled at all year long for it. So
I got Texas as well. All right, next up, we got the 7 seed UConn Huskies versus the 10 seed Maryland Terrapins. Am I saying it right?
Terrapins, yeah.
Terrapins.
All right, this is a Terrapins game here. Terrapins are getting hot at the right time. I don't think UConn is worth nothing. I'm taking Maryland here in 6-7 point victory.
All right, I'm going Maryland as well. And
Yeah.
hopefully, I think that the Maryland coach will probably be able to take Hurley a little bit more than he would have Juwan Howard.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got Alabama, the second seed versus 15th seed Iona. James, which way you headed with this one?
It's going to be closer than people think, but I'm taking Alabama.
Okay. I am also going to take Alabama here.
Again, here's why. It's an SEC team versus one of these colleges that focuses on defense.
Right.
So Alabama's shooting has been crazy this year. Alabama's a really good team. I'm taking Bama.
All right, that moves us to the next side of our bracket. Here we are in the South. The South first seed, Baylor, versus the 16th seed, Hartford. James, which way are you feeling towards this one?
I'm going Baylor. I think they're really polished around. I think they're everywhere. And you got the number one seed for a reason.
I think anyone is crazy if they pick the 16th seed. I'm just telling you. Yeah, like
Listen, it could happen.
No. I'm saying it could happen, but like
you don't make an educated guess with a 16 seed. I'm sorry.
All right. Baylor. All right. Next up, we have North Carolina versus Wisconsin. James, which way you headed?
So this
I know this one's tough for you because
it
North
really
Carolina is one of those out of the 15 million teams that you root for. It's one of them. So.
Absolutely. And Wisconsin is one of my favorite states in the country. So it really is a hard decision for me. I think North Carolina was very, very overlooked. I think if you restart this season, I think North Carolina is a higher seeded team than they are currently. I'm going to ride with North Carolina here. I think coaching and experience wins this ball game.
All right. I do want to say something about North Carolina's player, Brooks, before I start. I'm the biggest. I hate North Carolina. Just I hate them. It's no secret.
You root to them so damn much.
Yeah, that's not true. That's false. Definitely false. But I just hate North Carolina. Obviously, I'm a Duke fan, but I watched. I was watching the North Carolina versus Duke senior night for North Carolina, and that kid Brooks, when he came off the floor, he's an absolute class act, and I wish him the best. But still, I hate North Carolina. But he was really someone.
I didn't know where that was going. What did this kid Brooks do? Because I didn't know what
he was crying. He was just crying and and hugging. It was nice to see. As a game that made me so angry. It was nice to see that, and I do want to give Coach Williams all the credit. His team, no matter if they're losing by a lot or not, he always keeps them in line, and they're always classy players. So I will give him that. Still hate them though, but I'm going Wisconsin here. I was raised a stronger division. That's what you go with. So, all right. Next up, we got our 5th seed Villanova versus our 12th seed Winthrop. James, which way you feeling towards this?
Oh, baby, this one's going to make me popular. Villanova is done. The end of the era is here. Gillespie is hurt. I understand they still have other good players around that team. But Winthrop is one of these teams that just always pokes their freaking heads in somewhere around there. And I think we're looking at a really big upset here. I haven't liked the way that Villanova's been playing like their last 5-6 games. So and they've been having upsets the whole year.
And also, I do want to say this one thing about Villanova and this one thing about the Big East. Yeah, the Big East was okay this year, but I don't think it can even compete with the other big divisions. I didn't think they were that good.
Exactly.
I think even the American, you might be able to say, maybe had a better. Yeah,
I think Cincinnati and Memphis played freaking great years.
Yeah, so I will say that, but I'm with you on this. I never really go with. I'm gonna lie. I never really go with Villanova. So I'm not gonna start now. All right, next up.
I don't care how many national championships.
Yeah, I just. All right, next up we got.
By the way, do you know that the most upsets come in the 12-5 category?
We just said that, dude.
Oh, did we?
We said that in the West. Now we're in the South.
Oh, it don't matter what conference you're in. So.
No, But I'm just telling you, that's what we said. We literally just said that. Goodness gracious, this man, you're like old. Like I'm older than you, but you are definitely the old head. Like you're definitely the old man of this group.
I do feel that way.
You don't look it though. I will give you a little bit.
I feel like I do.
All right. Next up, we got the 4th seed Purdue versus the 13th seed North Texas. James.
This is where like being a gambler like really hits you because you have to do things with your head and not your heart.
Right. And remember, this is money line. This isn't spread.
Right. Exactly. So it's like, North Texas has made me a freaking boatload of money this year because they're just like, they're covering machines and like they've won the games I need them to win. But I got to go Purdue here. Purdue's a strong team, man. Watch out for the chicken lickers. That's what I'm calling them. Purdue chicken.
Okay. I believe they're the Boilermakers, but whatever. So you're going Purdue here?
I am.
All right. I'm going to go Purdue too. Again, stronger conference.
Yeah.
You're going to hear the same thing over and over from me. And my dad, like, he sends me texts and he says, if you say this word one more time, I'm going to start a drinking game. So just so he knows.
Which word is that?
Just so you know, stud, when I say the guy's a stud, when we're talking about, which I do. Yeah, I do that. And he's like, I think it's too. He gives me his pointers. Yeah. But
do I have any words?
No, he doesn't. I mean, he's not going to critique you to me. It's more, his way of
I'm critiquable.
Don't worry. I'll send you the
critique. I say the word critiquable, we're going to have to drink.
Yeah. But, yeah, so just so you know, Dad, I'm going to be saying conference strong a lot. All right. So we have the 6th seed and the 11th seed, 6th seed Texas Tech versus the 11th seed Utah State. I almost said Utah Jazz. James, which way are you headed in this one?
Texas Tech, Utah State, you said?
Yeah, Texas Tech, Utah State.
All right, see, this is a major spot where a big upset can happen. Okay. I don't trust Texas Tech as far as I can throw them.
All right.
Utah State, the whole freaking team is seniors. It's just like next year, I fear for that team because I don't know if there's any freshmen on that team.
Gotcha.
I like Utah State here. I think they're really well coached. They always seem to be dancing around. I'm going to take Utah State in the upset here.
Sorry. I had to sneeze. All right. I'll go Utah State too. I kind of had my eye on them, and they're a team that, professionals say could really make a run, so I'll go with that. All right, next up we have our 3rd seed, Arkansas, versus our 14th seed, Colgate.
Don't even talk to me about Colgate. They can't do nothing right.
14-1.
Yeah, and they haven't done anything right this entire year. For me, at least. The Colgate Raiders will fail miserably in this game. I love Arkansas.
Okay.
I think they're one of the better teams coming out of the SEC.
All right. I'll go Arkansas too.
I got my Arkansas.
All right, next up, we got Florida versus Virginia Tech. Florida is the 7th seed, and Virginia Tech is the 10th seed. James, which way are you headed in this direction?
I got to give it to the blue and orange here. I love Florida. I love them boys. And I think they got Keontae Johnson back, so.
That'd be great. All right, I am going to go with Virginia Tech.
Ooh, sneaky little bastard.
Yep. Got to do it. All right. Next up, we have the 2 seed of Ohio State versus the 15 seed Oral Roberts.
Oral Roberts. I got to go Ohio State here.
Oh, I thought you were going Oral Roberts.
No. Sorry, the name makes me laugh.
Never mind, you're not an old man. You are a young boy.
You can see who their enemy is. But yeah, no, I'm going Ohio State here.
I'm also going to go Ohio State. I think they're strong, and obviously they play in a great division. They played really well against a very good Michigan team. I think that they are, and again, lost at the right time. So All right, next up we got Illinois versus Drexel. James, which way are you going here?
Sorry, I'm good. I gotta go Illinois.
Yeah.
Is this the next conference? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's Midwest. My bad. I should have said that.
Oh, good. No worries. I was dazed.
Yeah, I'm go. Like I said, you don't go a 16 seed. There's a reason they've only won once. And okay, so say you have 16 seed win, you have a 25% chance of getting it right anyway. So just go with the 1 seed.
Right. Don't try to reinvent the wheel.
Right. Well, if all the if only one seed loses, you have a 75% chance of getting the right thing.
There's 31 more games coming up the pipe that you got to get right.
Exactly. All right, so both Illinois here. All right, next up, and I know you love this team that I'm about to mention. We got the 8 seed in Loyola Chicago versus the 9 seed in Georgia Tech, and you've been a big Georgia Tech supporter, I know, all year long. James, which way are you headed with this one?
Yeah, so I think that the committee that put together this bracket designed it specifically to make me really hate my life. Loyola Chicago, again, one of the more profitable teams this year in college basketball. Fell in love with the team. They got a lot of heart. They got a lot of soul. But Georgia Tech,
they got a nut on their side. They got Jesus.
That's true. And then you sit there and you got Georgia Tech and Jose Alvarado. That their coach, such a young coach. That guy's got to be the most polite guy in the history of college basketball. But I got to give it to the guys that had the hot hand. I know Georgia Tech was hot, but I got to give it to the guys that had the hot hand all year. I'm going to take Loyola Chicago, and I think that this comes down to, again, strength of schedule. Loyola Chicago doesn't play like mediocre teams. And Georgia Tech got away with the ACC this year, and I think it was a small, less competitive division than conference than normal.
No, I will say for Loyola Chicago, I love myself some Sister Jean. She was great. She was awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Like, listen, a lot of people are like Loyola Chicago. Who is that? They're there every year. It's not like
they made it really. When they made a deep run, it was hard not to love Sister Jean. My brother actually was doing. I forgot what he was doing there in high school. They had like overnight type thing that all the bunch of kids went to, and he got to meet her. And so I'm not going Loyola Chicago though. I am going Georgia Tech.
All right, ACC girl sticks with her.
Well, I said they were weak this year. I think they were a little weak this year, but that's okay.
You've been very fair. Fair throughout this.
Yes. All right. Next up, I will say this. I am not someone who lives in the cloud, like a cloud nine about my teams. I know the reality of my teams.
I think you're like me.
Yeah. You're very realistic about it, depending on the team. Some of your teams are a little, but other teams you don't.
I always have hope for the Giants, and I don't know why.
And the Knicks, too. You have weirdly a good amount of hope for the Knicks, who I think let you down way more than the Giants do. All right, next up, we have the 5th seed Tennessee Volunteers versus the 12th seed Oregon State Beavers. Which way are you going on this one?
Listen, this was a dream run for Oregon State, and it's about to turn into a nightmare when they face the Volunteers. I love Tennessee this year. Like I said, this SEC has been a super, super tough conference this year.
Right. You would consider them number 2.
I would. I definitely would. So I'm riding with Tennessee here. I think they're playing hot. They're playing good basketball. They're covering spreads. What I always say, if you're covering spreads, you're the hottest team. So I'm going with Tennessee.
I got Tennessee as well. And that's I don't really trust the Pac-12 in any sport.
Yeah. If Oregon was playing any other team, like not actual Oregon, like quack Oregon.
Oregon State.
If they weren't playing VCU, I wouldn't have taken Oregon there.
All right. Next up, we got Oklahoma, the 4th seed Oklahoma State versus the 13th seed Liberty. James, which way are you headed with this?
Liberty they're always a good team, but they
can make a run.
Absolutely. I just don't like this matchup for them because the best basketball player in college basketball belongs to Oklahoma State.
Well, I do. the most NBA. What you mean is like the best potential NBA player in.
Right, like the most well-rounded basketball player.
Right, because I think for you to say Lucas Garza, whatever
No. I'm just saying the most well-rounded
right,
NBA
okay.
starting game 1 NBA next year.
I think that we could agree that there's a difference between the best potential NBA player and the best player in college basketball. Okay, cool.
Definitely.
All right, so you're going OK State here.
I'm going more Cade Cunningham than I'm going Oklahoma State.
Okay. When we did this with our bowl games, I went with Liberty, and you told me I was crazy. I'm going with the upset here. I'm going Liberty.
All right. I don't disagree with that pick.
No, I know. I get that was one of the tougher ones. All right, next up
Liberty's a good basketball team.
Yeah. All right, next up we have San Diego State versus Syracuse. San Diego State being the 6th seed, Syracuse barely squeaking in there as the 11th seed. James, which way are you heading on this?
Where am I heading with this? I'm going to head with the team that has a coaching staff. I'm going to head with the team that has lights out three-point shooting. And I got to go with Syracuse here. I think that this can be a run-up type of score game. I don't think I've seen San Diego State score more than 70 this year. And Syracuse can light it up and light it up quickly on you. Buddy Boeheim is an incredible shooter. And I tell you, when Buddy Boeheim first locked in with Syracuse, I was like, wow, it's because he's Jim Boeheim's son.
Right.
No. I think that the athletic director of Syracuse told Jim Boeheim, if you don't get him, you're no longer coaching Syracuse basketball. If you can't recruit your own son, we got a problem. But I really, really like this Syracuse team. I think they're picking up at the right time. My fear is that they haven't beaten anybody major this year, but they haven't lost to anybody bad.
And I think that you could say like San Diego State hasn't probably played the best competition. So
exactly.
This is a great first round matchup for them.
Definitely is. I'm going to give the edge to Syracuse because of coaching, experience, and three-point shooting.
All right, we got, and I know you're going to laugh at the next name as well, West Virginia, the 3rd seed, and Morehead State, the 14th seed. James, so immature. Which way are you going on this? So immature.
Who do you think is the rival of Oral Roberts? They're competing. Who sucks more? Who's playing Morehead State?
West Virginia.
West Virginia. I'm going West Virginia here just because I need Morehead State and Oral Roberts out immediately.
Yeah, seriously.
Before we get canceled.
I'm going West Virginia as well. All right, next up, we got the 7th seed of Clemson versus the 10th seed of Rutgers. James, which way are you going on this?
This is a hard one. I'm gonna go Rutgers here. Again, I'm picking a local team, but then again, this is all for funsies, right?
Yeah.
Did you take Syracuse with me?
I did.
Okay, just making sure. Clemson, Rutgers. Listen, I don't think Clemson is that great of a team. Rutgers is not that great of a team, but Rutgers has one thing. What do I always tell you? What I tell you, we were talking about baseball the other day. The Blue Jays have like 4 or 5 guys whose fathers played in the NBA.
Right.
And you have that advantage here with
Rutgers.
Oh God, Ron
Harper Jr.
Ron Harper Jr. Yeah. So you're gonna have that experience. You have good coaching over there, and you have one added little thing, and that's Cinderella team possibility.
All right, next
I think that'll carry them to the first round.
Gotcha. I'm going Rutgers here too. Next up, we have Houston versus Cleveland State. James, which way are you headed?
I'm going to go Houston here. Houston looks like the old Houston of like the 80s.
Phi Slamma Jamma.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I'm taking them, and plus Cleveland State is in a state of Cleveland.
I'm going Houston. I'm going Houston too. Do we want to do the next round matchups? Are we doing the full bracket tonight?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, awesome. We'll go full bracket because we have a big week, so let's get it out of the way.
Yeah, let's get it out. True. All right. Next up, we got the second round matchups. We got from you. It's Gonzaga versus Missouri.
Yeah, one sec. Sorry. All right, for me, it's Gonzaga, Missouri, and I have Gonzaga going through again.
Got it. All right, I have Gonzaga and Oklahoma, and I'm gonna go Gonzaga here. All right, next up for you, you have UCSB versus Virginia. James, which way you headed here?
UCSB, Virginia. I'm going to go with Virginia coming out on top.
I have the opposite of you. I have Creighton versus Ohio, and I'm going to have Ohio moving on to the Sweet 16.
Whoa.
Yep.
All right,
next up, we got, for you, it's USC versus Kansas. Which way you headed?
I'm going to go USC here.
USC. Okay. For me, it is Kansas versus USC as well, but I'm going Kansas.
Ooh.
All right, next up, we have for you, it is Oregon versus Iowa. James, which way you headed?
I'm going Iowa here.
All right. For me, it is VCU versus Iowa, and Iowa is heading to the Sweet 16 in my bracket. All right, next up, we have the East second round. We have Michigan. For you, it's Michigan versus LSU.
LSU upset.
Okay. James is ready for the upset season. I have Michigan versus LSU, but however, I'm going the opposite way of you. I'm going Michigan. All right. Next up, we have Colorado. For you, it's Colorado versus UNC Greensboro. James, which way you headed?
I'm going Colorado here. Like I said, McKinley Wright, my favorite player in college basketball.
Awesome. All right, James. I have Colorado versus Florida State. I'm going FSU here. Next up.
Florida State who?
I have Florida State versus Colorado. And
oh, you just have different teams than me. Okay,
yeah.
I was like, I thought I have FSU out of here.
No, you did. All right, James. BYU versus Texas is in your bracket. Which way you go?
Upset alert. Taking Texas. Talking about Kevin Durant's Texas, right?
Yeah. It's Kevin Durant's Texas. Yeah, I think he's playing. James goes with Texas, hoping that Kevin Durant's back in time for. Oh wait, he's in the NBA now. All good though. I am going with Michigan State here.
Oh crap! That's a big upset.
All right, next up we have for you, James. It's Maryland versus Alabama.
Maryland and Alabama for me. I'm gonna go with Alabama here again. I think this is, even though these are really two big freaking great conferences this year, I'm gonna go Alabama just because of their shooting prowess.
We go Alabama too.
Yep.
Not gonna lie, this bracket is looking more like a college football bracket. Especially like yours too, than it is. All right, next up we'll go to the South. The second round in the South, we got Baylor versus Wisconsin. James, which way you headed?
What was the first team?
Sorry, Baylor versus. You have Baylor versus North Carolina. My bad, I read mine.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Baylor here.
I'm gonna go Baylor. I have Baylor versus Wisconsin. I'm going Baylor.
Sweet.
All right. Next up, we have Winthrop versus Purdue for you.
Winthrop and Purdue is gonna be Purdue for me.
It's also Winthrop and Purdue for me, and I am going with, shocking enough, Purdue.
Purdue chicken.
Next up, we have the Utah State Aggies. I think they're the Aggies, right?
They are the Aggies, yes. There's like one of 9 different
Aggies. Then we have the Arkansas Razorbacks. James, which way you headed with this one?
I'm gonna go Arkansas here. Again, I think the SEC reigns superior around this time now.
I'm also gonna go Arkansas here.
Arkansas.
All right. James, for you, it's Florida versus Ohio State. James, which way are you going on this one?
I'm going to go Florida here. I don't think Ohio State is that great, to be totally honest.
All right, shocking. I'm going to go with Ohio State.
All right.
All right. Next up, we are in the Midwest. James, you have Illinois versus Loyola Chicago.
I'm going Illinois.
All right. I am going Illinois as well. All right, James, you have Tennessee versus OK State.
I'm going to go Oklahoma State here.
I am going to go Tennessee here.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, I have Tennessee versus Liberty. I'm going Tennessee.
That's right, you do.
All right. James, we have, for you, it's Syracuse versus West Virginia.
This is going to be West Virginia for me.
For
West
me,
Virginia.
For me, it's West Virginia versus Syracuse. I am also going West Virginia.
Yay.
James, for you, it's Rutgers versus. For both of us, it's Rutgers versus Houston. James, which way are you going on this one?
Go Houston on this one.
Houston on this one? All right. I am going to go. I'm going to go Houston.
Cougars.
That was a hesitation. But,
yeah, noticed.
All right, next up, we're at the Sweet 16, and we're in the West. James, for you, it's Gonzaga versus Virginia. Which way you headed?
I got Gonzaga.
Okay, for me, it's Gonzaga versus Ohio. I got Gonzaga as well.
Love it.
James, for you, it's USC versus Iowa. Which way you headed?
I got Iowa advancing.
For me, it is Iowa versus Kansas. I am going Iowa. All right, James. Now we head to the Sweet 16 in the East. James, you have LSU versus Colorado. Which way you headed?
Unfortunately, here's where my run on McKinley right the fourth ends. I'm going to go with LSU, sticking them out.
All right. For me, it is Michigan versus FSU. I'm going Michigan here. James, for you, it is Texas versus Alabama. Which way you headed here?
I got Texas.
All right. For me, it is Michigan State versus Alabama. I got Alabama here.
Let's go.
All right, James, that moves us into the South and the Sweet 16 for the South. James, you have Baylor versus Purdue. Which way you headed here?
I'm sticking that with Baylor.
Okay. For me, I have Baylor versus Purdue. I'm going Purdue here.
Oh, chicken lickers.
I love chicken. Chicken is my favorite food.
Same here.
So, all right. James, for your Sweet 16, your last Sweet 16 matchup at the South, we have Arkansas versus Florida. James, which way you headed?
I'm going Arkansas.
I have Arkansas, Ohio State. I am also going Arkansas.
Let's go, Razorbacks.
All right, James, that brings us to our last Sweet 16 matchups in the Midwest. You have Illinois versus OK State. Which way you headed?
I'm going to go with Illinois here.
Okay. I have Tennessee versus Illinois. I'm going Tennessee here in an upset.
Do it.
James, you have West Virginia, Houston. We both actually have West Virginia, Houston here. Which way you headed?
I'm going West Virginia, baby. West Virginia.
All right, I'm hitting Houston here.
All right, Cougars.
All right. James, you got Gonzaga, Iowa. I also have Gonzaga, Iowa at the Elite Eight, the West matchups.
I have Iowa.
All right.
Taking down the number 1 seed.
I got Iowa as well.
Goodbye, fellers.
I don't think they're Gonzaga Bulldogs.
No, they're the fellers.
They're definitely the Bulldogs.
They're the Gonzaga fellers.
Okay. All right. Next up, James, in the East, your matchup to make to the Final Four. You have LSU, Texas in the Elite Eight. Which way you headed?
I'm going Texas.
All right. All All right, for me, it's Michigan, Alabama, and as much as I like out to see Alabama, I really like this Michigan team.
All right.
All right, James, for you in the Elite Eight. Oh, I messed up. You picked Arkansas, right?
Yes.
For you in the Elite Eight, it's Baylor versus Arkansas. Which way you headed?
I got Baylor.
All right. I have Arkansas. All right, James, for your Elite Eight matchup in the Midwest, you have Illinois versus West Virginia. Which way you headed?
It's gonna be West Virginia.
Okay. And for my final matchup going into the Elite Eight, we have going into the Final Four, Tennessee versus Houston. I'm going Houston here. All right, James, you got Iowa versus Texas in your first Final Four matchup. Which way you got? Who you got?
I'm going Texas.
All right. For my matchup, I have Iowa, Michigan in a Big Ten battle. I'm going Michigan. James, for your your Final Four matchup coming out of the South and Midwest, we have Baylor versus West Virginia. Which way you going?
Oh, I'm going with Baylor here.
Okay. For me, I have Arkansas versus Houston. I'm going Houston here. Okay, James. For your national championship game, you have Texas versus Baylor. What are you doing? Which way are we headed?
I'm going with national champions, the Baylor Bears.
Okay. I have Michigan versus Houston. I'm going Michigan.
All right.
And that is.
You don't think Isaiah Livers means anything to that team, do you? You don't think Isaiah Livers means anything to that team, do you?
I saw them. I like Juwan Howard. I think he brings them there. That's all I got to say.
All right. Well enough.
All right, so that was our bracket challenge. We'll be back with definitely more bracket stuff coming down to the wire. James, great job on your bracket. We'll see if the professional or the amateur wins the bracket challenge. And James, just so you know, every first round win is 1 point. Second round win is 2 points.
Okay.
Sweet 16 win 3 points. Elite 8 4 points. Final 4, you know. You got it. All right.
We'll do our spreads on when we get them in. Whenever the spreads come out, we can do that separately. We don't have to do it on the show. That may be a friendly wager.
Yes, for sure. All right. And we will be back with more. Stick around.